Conservatism. As the name implies, conservatism seeks to preserve traditional values in Western society. Conservatives typically support organized religion, the nuclear family, the military, and private property rights. Liberalism. Liberal ideologies are typically recognized as having dominated modern history. They typically support free markets and believe that each and every person has the right to pursue their own interests, as well as the requirements that the government be accepted by the people who live in the country. Elections involving several political parties, the division of responsibilities among the several levels of government, the exemption of religion from state authority, and a list of core principles outlined in the Constitution, including the right to privacy, press freedom, assembly freedom, speech freedom, and religious freedom. Anarchy. Anarchism is an ideology that supports a society devoid of rulers and established authority, emphasizing the concept of freedom. It proposes stateless communities and voluntary free groups to take the place of states. Capitalism. The fundamental features of capitalism include private property, free exchange, competition, division of labor, and social collaboration. Capitalism is an economic system founded on the private ownership of the means of production and their operation for profit. Communism. The core of communism is shared ownership of the means of production, exchange, and distribution, which distributes goods to every member of society according to need. Private property, social classes, money, or the state do not exist in society. Corporatism. The term corporatism refers to a political system that is not dominated by large business interests. Instead, it refers to the organization of society in various industries, such as agriculture, military, engineering, and so on, to which people are assigned based on their interests and skills. It also believes in a cross-class system of regulation in which the state, employers, and workers negotiate with one another to run the economy as efficiently as possible and satisfy all parties involved. Imperialism. In addition to believing that a nation should increase its power or influence through military action, imperialism was once very popular and essentially significant as conservatism. However, its popularity has declined over time. Imperialism is known for its support of war and its belief that the stronger nations should rule over the weaker ones. It typically refutes accusations of oppression by arguing that colonized people benefit because the richer nations support them and provide them with resources they wouldn't otherwise have. Feminism. Feminism seeks to define and establish the political, economic, personal, and social equality of the sexes. It is based on the belief that women are unfairly treated in society and that men should have the upper hand. Efforts to modify this view include dismantling gender stereotypes and enhancing the opportunities available to women in the workplace and in school. Fascism. Fascism asserts that people are weakly divided but powerfully united under the banner of a state, nation, army, or other similar organization. It is authoritarian, meaning that it is typified by a ruling class that rejects the notion that voters can choose between different political parties and is characterized by a strong central authority, typically a dictator, which means it opposes the division of powers. Fascism is also ultranationalist, meaning it upholds the idea that a country should prioritize its own interests over the rights of other nations. Typically, militarism, the belief that a country should have a strong enough military to advance its interests and ideals, coexists with ultranationalism. Fascism uses brutal measures to stifle resistance. Nazism. Nazism is a type of fascism that places a strong emphasis on its racist ideology, which holds that the Aryan race is superior and that it should rule the rest of the world to improve it. This makes Nazism ultranationalist. To be classified as an Aryan by the Nazis, one must be white, straight, mentally and physically capable, free of cowardice, and not Jewish. If one is deemed non-Aryan, One is referred to as Untermensch, which means subhuman. Eugenics is a set of beliefs and practices that aim to improve the genetic quality of the human population. As a result, people with inherited disorders are deemed useless eaters and are either killed or sent to camps. Libertarianism. Libertarianism maintains liberty as a fundamental ideal and works to promote individual freedom and political autonomy. It supports very minimal government and adheres to liberal ideas such as equality before the law and the fundamental rights to life, liberty, and property. Moderatism. The political spectrum that the general public finds acceptable is known as the Overton window, and moderates like to stay inside it. In most situations, moderates are apolitical, which simply means that they don't care about politics, yet are somewhat informed about it. Populism. It emphasizes appealing to a broad audience and their sensibilities, with the idea that the general public must receive what they desire. It is a movement by the people for the people, so it can take many different forms. Because of this, it has no true political affiliation, but it is frequently associated with democracies because it depends on popular support, frequently divides the populace from the elite, and is frequently anti-politics and anti-establishment. Socialism. Although the term socialism has many different meanings, in its traditional definition, it refers to worker-owned means of production that strongly encourage worker coups. Democratic self-governance and democratic workplaces. Modern socialism promotes democratic self-management by workers, hefty taxes on the wealthy, and nationalization of important industries. Social ownership is one of socialism's core principles. Separatism. The goal of separatist, sometimes referred to as secessionism, is to create an independent nation-state or government apart from an already existing nation. Progressivism. Progressivism holds that historical legacies should not be revered and should instead be seen as secondary to society advancement. It is essentially the antithesis of conservatism. Communitarianism. An ideology known as Communitarianism places a strong emphasis on the community as the fundamental social unit. It also typically emphasizes the idea that politics' left-right binary is holding the political system back and argues that policies from both parties are beneficial to the community and necessary. Finally, it holds that absolute individualism is harmful when it stands in the way of the common good. Subscribe to watch the similar videos I'll be making.